Easter Monday, the day after Easter Sunday, and a public holiday in some countries. And talking about the celebrations, clergymen and Christian faithful have charged Nigerians, especially politicians, to be selfless and emulate the sacrificial life of Jesus Christ. Former chairman of Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria in Delta State, Bishop Pius Odioko, and Bishop of Anglican Church, Asaba Diocese, are optimistic that the country will surmount its challenges. Ikena reports on this.
It is Easter, and most churches in Delta State held church services to commemorate an important period in the Christian calendar. But not everywhere in the country have the liberty to mark the day, as kidnapping, banditry, and insurgency have become the order of the day. These Christians are praying and hoping for the best for a country with great potentials to become one of the best countries in the world, but lack visionary leadership.
Most of our leaders, political leaders, are just too selfish that there's nothing like sacrifice related to them by any means. Because God has put more than enough in this place called Nigeria, that all of the hardship and the difficulties and the suffering that most of the population of Nigeria are going through, it's never supposed to be.
What you go through in Nigeria is like you are becoming irredeemable. It's as if there are stories we hear about insecurity, especially, to look like it can never get better. It has gone beyond recovery. But we believe in God. As Easter has brought us message of hope and restoration, Nigeria can be great again. We encourage our leaders not to lose hope as long as they are sincere.
The story of Easter is that of restoring of hope with the resurrection of Jesus Christ, which applies to many people hoping to overcome challenges confronting them.
We should tune to this Easter commemoration so that we pray to God as Jesus has resurrected. Let our country, Nigeria, with our attitudes and our own contribution in our own way as good citizens, that Nigeria, by this reason Jesus, will anchor to him and Nigeria will be restored to his original glory.
Challenges of those that want us not to rise has been broken by the risen Christ. And that is why we're celebrating.
Easter is one of the significant commemorations in the Christian faith, and as Christians all over the world commemorate this year, the message to Nigerians and indeed leaders is that they should emulate the selfless and sacrificial life of Christ. Ikenna Amechi, TVC News.
Get back to talking more on Easter celebration, but then let's change our attention by looking at the bid to strategize for better security in the country. The Nigeria Police Force has acquired new equipment to keep the country safe. This was disclosed in a statement signed by the Force Public Relations Officer, CSP Olumiwa. The new equipment acquired by the force include acquired 55 additional lorries, 5 water tankers, 2 coaster buses, and 15 armored personnel carriers. The Inspector General of Police has now directed that the logistics and assets be made available for the ongoing serial operations being executed by the police at strategic locations in the country. Adequate funds have also been released to upgrade the police ICT platforms to the required status. Now, talking about the war against smuggling of illicit items, the ADAMAWA and TARABA Area Command of the Nigeria Customs Service have intercepted contrabands worth 119.8 million naira between January and March this year. The Comptroller, Ishaka Ganiyu, said the items were seized in 40 operations within the period under review. Our correspondent, Olabi Adenusi, found this report.
ADAMAWA, Taraba Cameroonian border communities have been a common route for smugglers moving contraband into the country. But custom operatives have lived up to their constitutional obligations by frustrating the numerous efforts of the smugglers. Between January and March this year, these assortment smuggled goods worth 119.8 million naira were seized along Nigerian Cameroonian border communities by the men of the Nigeria Customs Service. The smugglers abandoned 12 vehicles and 2 motorcycles on citing officers of the command. Displaying the seized item before newsmen, the controller says the feat was achieved through intelligence report.
The command, in collaboration with other units of the CIU, SIS, Strike Force, Federal Operation, and the credible information from patriotic members of the public and the assistance of other security agencies, the command was able to record 40 seizures with the duty paid value of 119,832,625 naira 10 kobo.
The controller listed the items to include 1,753 bags of urea fertilizer concealed in charcoal bags, 237 50-kilogram bags of foreign parboiled rice, 505 sachets of 100 milligram tramadol, and 5,340 liters of foreign engine oil, and 9,825 liters of petroleum motor spirit (PMS). All have been auctioned.
505 sachets of tramadol, 393 jerrycans, translating to 9,825 liters of PMS. It has been auctioned.
The custom were able to achieve this feat as a result of intelligence report given to the command, coupled with the cooperation of other sister.
Now let's go back to our earlier story where we talked about Easter, and joining me now to discuss the importance of the season is Senior Pastor, Life Abundance Christian Church, Daniel Karim. It's good to have you on the Midday News.
Good day, it's good to have you.
And I say happy Easter to you.
Thank you so much, thank you so much.
Right. It all started from Friday, I think, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and today is Easter Monday.
Yeah.
What exactly is the significance of commemorating this day? Okay,
so I want to use this opportunity to say happy Easter to everybody, to the world at large, and to TVC people. The event of Easter, like has been popularly celebrated, is just not an event to be celebrated, it's an event to be impacted. Yeah. You know, it's something that you need to experience. Jesus did not die on Friday, neither did he rise on Sunday. Yeah. This event had happened several years ago. So we are just using this season and time to be able to remember what this Easter is standing for. I just try to calibrate it to just 3 things that is very, very important for us to note when it comes to Easter. Number 1, Easter is meant for the renewal of purpose. Renewal of purpose. Jesus came for a purpose. So for that reason, he was able to achieve his assignment by being able to lay his life down for the world and for those to be saved. So in that light also, it is a season where everybody must learn to renew the purpose why they are sent on this world, why they are sent into this beautiful place. You know, even nations, when they lose their purpose, it becomes out of joint. So number 1 is that Easter is for the renewal of purpose. Number 2, Easter is for the renewal of endurance, tolerance. Jesus followed that cross and that process, trying to signify to us what endurance is all about. A lot of people have started good thing, good assignment that God has given to them, but they don't have the endurance to last. So Jesus took that and he told every one of us, they carry your cross and follow me. So with that, endurance is the second point that people should note whenever we are celebrating a time like this. And the third one is the renewal of strength, the renewal of power. The Bible says he died, he rose up again with power. He was sown into dishonor, he came up with honor. He was sown in weakness, he came up with power. He was sown in pain, he came up with health. So that assignment is to give our own purpose strength to be able to finish on the top line. This is the 3 things that people must note about the significance of Easter that we're celebrating now.
These 3 things that you mentioned, these 3 attributes that you mentioned are really cardinal in the lives of Nigerians now. Looking at the current situation we are faced with in this country, the issue of insecurity, the economic downturn, you know, on and on. So if you talk about the endurance, how would you relate, how should Nigerians, especially the Christians, imbibe these attributes in the day-to-day activities so that the country will become a better place at the end of the day?
So, thank you. You see, that is the disappointing part of everything. Even the non-Christian that we are projecting that they will be able to carry out that mission. Jesus laid down a formula that as we Christians, we're supposed to follow that formula. Now, I have discovered, and a lot of people preaching in their church, that we should stay away from politics. I disagree completely. Because when the righteous are leading the nation will be exalted. When you leave it to the hands of all of these men that are coming forth, they will not be able to carry out this projection that we are already looking for a new Nigeria. So Christians must join politics. They must be actively involved in politics. And when they have joined and actively involved, they must stand their ground. We must begin to stand their ground. If the good men don't speak out, evil continues.
Yeah. So altogether, what would you say about a situation where we will have some who are Christians in politics, who are politicians, but most of the teachings they get from church is not what they practice with when it comes to managing public funds and so on and so forth? What would you say regarding this? And in looking forward to choosing the rightful leader, because you say Jesus Christ was a leader and is a leader because of some of the the way he lived his lives and the teachings, the lessons that a lot of people got from him, especially the adherents. So how should people, what kind of attributes should we be looking at in selecting the kind of leaders who will live according to the dictates of Lord Jesus Christ? Okay,
thank you. So we've been disappointed so many times, even while Christ had 12 people together. One had to still derail from the plan, So I want to believe that we're going to trust God in this, because we have a lot of Christians have been there and they have disappointed every one of us. We have a lot of churches in Nigeria. We have a lot of people calling this God as it were, but a lot of people are not transformed. A lot of people are not transformed. So as a pastor, I would advise that we use track records. Let's use track. Nobody should just come in as a novice. Let us learn people's track record. People, what have they done before? And how have they been doing those things they do before? It may not be immediately that we'll get the result we yearn for, but we should be pushing towards that direction. Track record is the only way I think we should be able to use to determine who and who to.
Absolutely. I love the aspect of tolerance, the perseverance, the endurance, and so on that you mentioned in the course of your analysis of what we gained from this season. Thank you very kindly. Senior Pastor, Life Abundance Christian Church, Daniel Karim. Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you, everybody.
Delta State government has taken a swipe at Deputy President of the Senate, OVIE OMO-AGEGE, over his governorship declaration speech, describing it as empty and uninspiring. The government says Senator OMO-AGEGE failed to identify what he intends to do differently to bring development to Delta State.
Speaking at his declaration of intention to run for the governorship position of Delta State, Deputy President of the Senate made some statements which the Delta State government says lacks the necessary ingredients, especially from a man of his caliber. At this press conference, Commissioner for Information speaks more.
And if on a live program he cannot even say what he wants to do to govern our state, you can understand why we are disappointed at that emptiness. Senator Dr. Okowa is not on the ballot for the governorship election of Delta State ahead of 2023 because he has finished, he's about to finish his second term in office. And so anybody who is saying we are going to chase him out of office, when the man is already preparing to leave the office, you do know that it means that the man does not even actually understand the situation of things.
On the issue of the marginalization of the Ndokwa people and underdevelopment, which OVIE OMO-AGEGE spoke about, the Commissioner for Information sets the record straight.
Our dear brother, who is occupying a very exalted position, is not even aware of the level of development that have characterized the 3 senatorial districts in the last 7 years. He did mention that our dear brothers in Ndokwa nation have been marginalized and have not benefited from the administration. We will need to remind him that he needs to go and visit OBRO and see what is going on with the OBRO bridge. So let him go and see what's happening with the Beneku bridge. We need to also remind him that Eziopo bridge is also ongoing. That's at level of bridges. I'm not talking about GOVTs. We also need to remind him that the Kwale Free Trade Zone is in Ndokwa nation.
More accusations and counter-accusations are expected in coming days and weeks as campaigns of political parties intensifies.
And the Ondo State government has faulted a media report that Governor Rotimi Akeredolu died following an unsuccessful operation in Germany. The governor appeared in some short videos to douse the tension created on social media. Ayodiji Moradeo reports.
The rumored death of Ondo State Governor Rotimi Akeredolu was one social media joke that was taken too far recently. The fake news, which spread like wildfire, became rife on Saturday when an online publication jotted the internet with the story, just as residents of the state scrambled for authenticity of the news. The governor's chief press secretary, Richard Olatude, issued a statement that countered the news and doused the tension. Mr. Olatude, who made the reaction via his Facebook post, described the news as wicked. His claim was substantiated with short videos of the governor released in Germany.
You looking very fresh. I don't think you should live in Nigeria again. I think you should be a German governor.
In one of the videos, the governor, who spoke and sang in a local dialect, thanked God for the gift of life. Governor Akeredolu left the country for Germany after the APC convention in March. He officially wrote the State House of Assembly for permission before embarking on an annual leave and handed over to his deputy, Lucky Ayedatiwa, as governor till his return. Ayodiji Moradeo, TVC News, Akure.
Anti-corruption crusaders have challenged the parliament at state and national levels to ensure prompt passage of laws that will aid the fight against graft. They also urged Nigeria to subscribe to international standards and come up with a rallying force to tame the menace. TVC News, Joki Adisa reports.
In its 2021 Corruption Perception Index, Transparency International ranked Nigeria the 154th most corrupt nation of 180 countries. 2021 is Nigeria's second consecutive year which it has dropped on the index rating. This colloquium is one of the many ways outlined to further structure the campaign against corruption. Anti-corruption practitioners admit graft has become a culture in Nigeria, with a dearth in infrastructure, a weak economy, and insecurity as some of its after effects. Government agencies speak to corruption from different perspectives.
Any dishonest behavior that infringes on the right of consumers or restricts competition in the markets is considered corruption.
Corruption is a person who deliberately lowers the quality of active ingredients in regulated products to make more profit at the expense of the health of an individual.
The biggest disease is corruption. The vaccine is transparency.
The process of Crime Recovery and Management Bill, the Whistleblowers Bill, and the Witness Protection Bill are three critical legislative instruments awaiting Parliament's passage.
We are to condemn something and be able to punish conduct that we disapprove of, then it must be prohibited by law. That is where the legislature comes in, either by the National Assembly or by the House of Assembly of the states, or through subsidiary legislation or other instruments.
What I would advise is for us to strengthen our level of compliance. If any individual is found breaching standards, breaching laws, breaching regulations, without emotion, without emotion, the law is expected to take its course.
Indeed, there exists a wide range of definitions of the word corruption, but the consensus here is that irrespective of individual or organizational definition, graft is a cankerworm that must be conquered if Nigeria is desirous to tackle the fundamental challenges confronting it. Joke Edsa, TVC News, Abuja.
To other stories, repeated gas flares to the environment and unabated oil spills have continuously been the talking point for oil companies and their host communities, sometimes ending in needless litigations. A non-governmental organization is now leading the charge for proper dialogue in the polluted environment by sensitizing the host communities in Delta State as well as Bayelsa. Joseph Kunde has more on this story.
Available data from the Nigerian Department of Petroleum Resources show that nearly 4.5 million barrels of crude oil were spilled between 1976 and 2021. Most damning of all, 77% of this oil has not been recovered and contaminates the local environment. These spills, coupled with years of gas flaring, has exposed communities in the Niger Delta to decades of unabated pollution, giving rise to health challenges and loss of livelihood among the local populace, who are mostly fishermen and farmers. This may be the reason the Health of Mother Earth Foundation, OMO-AGEGE, is seeking to educate individuals from host communities in Bayelsa and Delta states on oil and gas exploitation activities and the need for communities to speak up against the polluting activities in their areas. The perceived unabated activities of some operators and their effect on the livelihoods also took the front burner. OMO-AGEGE believes monitoring and reporting illegal activities remain the only way to checkmate exploitation, hence the need for continuous dialogue and training of communities on the issue.
The majority of damages that occur in the Niger Delta region are as a result of equipment failure, not acts of sabotage. So if this article in the PIA is kept and is followed up to the latter, we will definitely see a situation where consistently communities will be denied benefits on account of disruption of oil operations.
Communities should be able to stand on their own and without rushing issues, understand the issues very well before they leave the ground. Say they are going to the court seeking environmental justice.
Training, they are giving the basic tools and the basic direction and guides on how best they can monitor, have the evidence and factual-based information to actually help them keep to what they are experiencing and push it to the public.
Crops we used to grow then, they don't produce as much anymore. We have been given the platform to advocate, to speak against this deplorable situation of our environment, so that we can take our case forward and get our environment